Hello, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Samson Pruitt. I am owner and co-founder of Slither Incorporated. Probably 5 or 6 times a week, I have to help people get rid of a mite infestation. Mites are probably never going to go away completely in collections around the United States because of one reason. Everybody uses a different method. All of the methods are not as sound as other methods, and so we reinfest and reinfest and reinfest with the amount of animals that pass hands back and forth at trade shows and throughout different collections. Mites are a type of spider that feed off of blood of your reptiles. The mite themselves are pretty easy to kill. The problem is, as soon as they have a blood meal, they start to lay eggs, and they lay millions and millions and millions of eggs, and these eggs can lay dormant for 30 to 90 days in a dry environment, in an empty enclosure. So what happens is you get these different products that people tell you to use, you kill the mites, and then 30 days later, your snake turns over its water bowl and the water triggers the eggs to hatch, and you have a reinfestation. And you wonder, where did they come from? They keep turning up. They come from the food, they come from the bedding. They can't come from food, they can't come from bedding. They're reptile mites. They come from reptiles. They're passed through the eggs. I use prevention at reptile shows. I'm going to show you exactly what I use for mite treatment. And I use prevention at reptile shows because reptile shows are where they transfer around. What I use: Hot Shot No Pest Strip. Comes in this foil pack. You open it up, you pull it out. It's in a protective plastic case that's made for hanging from the ceiling, and you can hang these in your reptile room and they will help out once you get rid of them. So you break open the plastic, you pull out the actual pest strip itself. It looks like a piece of cheese or something along those lines. You cut it up into sections. So this is what it looks like. This is the poison. This is the product that is functional for killing the bugs. You can buy them at Walmart. You can buy them at Lowe's. You can buy them at Home Depot. You can buy them online. I do not work for this company. I'm not getting paid anything for this announcement. This is not a commercial for Hot Shot. This is what works. I've been using them for 25 or 30 years. They will absolutely wipe out your mites and kill them as they hatch. The important thing is that you use them properly. You will hear warnings about all the different types of things that you're using. And the Hot Shot No Pest Strips, on the package it says, do not bring in contact with animals. Do not touch them with your fingers. Yes, it is a dangerous poison. It is a pesticide. You do not want to get it on your fingers and stick it in your mouth or rub it in your eyes. You should probably wash your hands afterwards. But you don't have to go through all of the things that people are talking about that you have to go through. When I was first told to use pest strips, I was told that you had to remove the water bowl. I was told that you had to take the pest strip and cut it up into a chunk, a small piece, and put it inside of a deli cup with holes punched in it inside of the animal's enclosure. And through trial and error, I have figured out that that is not the case. It is not going to hurt a reticulated python, a ball python, or a boa constrictor. I have used it with all 3 of those different types of animals. Obviously, you don't want to use it with arachnids. You have to be very careful. There are geckos and other animals that shouldn't come in contact with it. So do a little bit more research and make sure what you can and can't have in the room when you're using it. I breed reticulated pythons, and I can tell you from firsthand experience with close to 30 years of use with pest strips that it will not hurt your retic. I have retics that use them for pillows. You do not have to remove the water bowl. You do not have to clean out the enclosure. You do not have to do anything but take the pest strip, cut it into a piece that is suitable for the size of the enclosure, and put it in the enclosure with the animal. The old pest strips that we used to get would last for 5 or 6 weeks. The new ones barely last 3. So if you want to make 100% certain that you are going to kill off all of the mites and the eggs as they hatch, you actually have to keep pest strips in the enclosure for 60 to 90 days, which means you're going to have to change out the pieces as you go through the process. But as far as being easy and actually absolutely working to do what you need them to do, the pest strips are the way to go as far as I'm concerned. I have heard horror stories about all other types of things, the Ivermectin, the Frontline, Prevenamite. All of these things are things that I've never used and I don't feel comfortable using. If I open up a tub, now let's say that I'm going to treat an animal that I found in a 28 quart tub that has a severe mite infestation, meaning that you can visibly see the mites all over the animal when you open the tub. A severe mite infestation can be deadly to your snake. They can literally suck enough blood out of your animal to kill your animal, to make it anemic and make it die. What I would do, instead of putting the pest strip in waiting for it to work, I would actually take that snake and soak it in a Listerine bath. You put about 2 cups of Listerine to a gallon of water. You actually submerge the snake in water first, because most snakes will drink as soon as you put them in the water. You don't want them to drink the Listerine because the alcohol will actually make them get drunk or inebriated. So you give them a real quick soak in water first, and then put them in the Listerine water, or pour the Listerine into the water that the snake is already sitting in. The alcohol in the Listerine will kill all of the mites on the snake. When you have the snake soaking, you cut up the pest strip. So for a 6 quart tub, you use a piece of pest strip the size of my thumbnail. Perfect size piece for a 6 quart tub. Thumbnail, piece of pest strip. A small little square is all that is necessary. You can leave the substrate in. You don't have to clean it out. You don't have to clean out the inside of the enclosure. You just drop the pest strip in the 6 quart tub. If you're doing a 15 quart tub, you would use 2 pieces the size of my thumbnail. Okay? If you want to move up to a 28 quart, then I would recommend that you use a piece about the size of 2 digits of my pinky finger. This piece is big enough for a 28 quart tub. A slice that you cut off of the end of the pest strip. Okay? Anything bigger than that, a 41 quart tub, you could put 2 pieces like this. And then a 74 quart tub, you could put 3 pieces like this. You can also put 3 pieces like this in a 4-foot enclosure. When you get up to anything bigger, 6 footers or 8 footers, I will generally just cut the pest strip into 4 pieces. Use 1 piece on either side of the enclosure just to make absolute certain that you have enough. You don't have to put it in anything. You don't have to take out the water bowl. You simply drop it on top of the substrate, whatever the substrate is. The way that the pest strip works is gases evaporate off of the poison strip, so the vapor kills the mites. Now, a lot of people make the mistake of not waiting long enough. The pest strip doesn't kill the mites immediately the second you put it in there. It takes 3 to 5 days for the pest strip, the chemicals, to actually kill the mites that you can see on the animal. So if you have a serious infestation, the best thing to do is give your snake a soak in a Listerine bath. In my opinion, after 6 weeks, you're pretty much good to go. You read things that say that they can last 90 days or 60 days. In my experience, 6 weeks is long enough to kill them off. If they pop back up, you put the pest strips back in. It's that simple. In a collection the size of mine, I literally keep pest strips in every enclosure at all times. We change them out every 3 weeks. It costs a lot of money for them for a facility the size of mine, but it is a necessary cost of doing business. And It prevents me from bringing mites back from the shows or coming in from other collections. At the shows, if you come see me at a show, you will see a chunk of pest strip in every single display. So funny because all my haters are like, oh, he's got mites. He's treating mites at the show. No, I'm protecting my snakes from your mites. That's exactly right. Because they are at the show. And you know what'll happen if the mites try and come into an enclosure or a display on my table at the show? They will go find another table to go into because they do not want to deal with the pest strip. So it's real simple. Hot shot, no pest strip. Put it in the enclosure. Leave it in the enclosure. If you leave it in the enclosure all the time, you never have to worry about having mites. I hope that this helps, guys. There's probably 100 other ways. I've tried a lot of them. This is the easiest way to do it and the most functional, the least offensive to the animals. If you want to take your snakes out and scrub them down with a brush and spray them with Frontline and ivermectin, you can do all of that. Have at it. But the pest strip's simple. Thank you for listening. I hope this was an informative video. Send me more questions. I'm driving. I'm always trying to figure out the videos that you guys want me to make. If you help me out to understand what you guys want to hear about, I will make sure that you get the information that you need. What am I supposed to say at the end of the videos, Cass? Will you say it for me, please? Like, comment, subscribe. Cassie wants you guys to like it. Cassie doesn't want to be ugly. Cassie wants you to subscribe to the channel so that you get notifications whenever the videos go up. And what else? And comment. Give us some comments. Tell us what you think. Give us some ideas for other videos, and we'll be glad to make them for you.